Imagine this. You're playing an open-world RPG. You've spent 40 hours grinding for gold, slaying digital dragons, and looting every chest in sight. You finally reach the capital city. You find a chest in a tavern. You dump every single coin into it, lock the lid, and walk away. You come back 50 gameplay hours later. The chest is still there. The gold is still there. But the shopkeepers? They've updated the patch notes. That legendary sword that cost 1,000 gold now costs 5,000. Your hoard didn't shrink, but its power evaporated. You've been nerfed by the system while you were sleeping. This is the reality of saving money. You think you're building a fortress. In reality, you're just building a very expensive sandcastle during high tide. Your brain, that 3-pound glob of wetware optimized for the Pleistocene, tells you that having is the same as keeping. It's not. In a fiat-based economic simulation, standing still is just a slow-motion sprint toward zero. Where should you save your money? Wrong question. The real question is, where do you store value so the system doesn't delete it? Your biology is outdated. Your ancestors survived because they hoarded physical calories. If you had a pile of grain, you lived. If you didn't, you died. This hoard-to-survive subroutine is hard-coded into your amygdala. When you see a high number in a digital bank portal, your brain releases dopamine. It thinks you have a mountain of grain. Now, you don't have grain, you have entries in a centralized database managed by a legacy institution that views you as a line item. You're running 2026 software on 50,000-year-old hardware. Your instinct is to hide the money. You want it under the mattress. You want it in a safe savings account. The word safe is the ultimate marketing exploit. It's a UI trick. In the world of economic mechanics, safe is synonymous with stagnant. While you're busy feeling secure, the central bank is busy printing the equivalent of 100 trillion new XP points, diluting the value of every point you currently hold. Inflation isn't an accident, it's a feature. It's the system's way of forcing you to stay on the treadmill. If money held its value perfectly, nobody would work. The economy would crash because the players would stop playing. To keep the simulation running, the devs have to ensure your gold loses its stats every single year. So you get smart. You look for a high-yield savings account, HYSA. You see a 4.5 or 5% interest rate. You think you've found a cheat code. You're finally beating the NPCs. Reality check. The interest rate is the bribe the bank pays you to use your capital for their own high-leverage plays. They take your saved 5%, lend it out at 15% for credit cards or 7% for mortgages, and pocket the spread. You are providing the liquidity for their engine while they throw you the scraps. And that 5%? After the government takes its tax cut and the real-world cost of eggs, energy, and housing rises by 6%, your high-yield account just gave you a net loss of 1%. You're paying for the privilege of letting the bank play with your money. Your brain sees the interest earned notification and glows. It's a fake level up. You're gaining XP, but the level cap is rising faster than your bar. You are effectively losing purchasing power in a high-definition, user-friendly interface. If we treat your life like a strategy game, we need to categorize your storage by its cooldown period and its defensive stats. You shouldn't have a savings account. You should have a liquidity stack. First layer, the buffer, the respawn point. Imagine this. Your car's transmission explodes. Your laptop gets a blue screen of death that won't go away. Your boss decides your department is redundant. If you don't have immediate liquidity, you're forced to take a loan. Loans are debuffs. They sap your future energy to pay for your past mistakes. You need 3 to 6 months of survival credits in a place where you can grab them in under 24 hours. This isn't an investment. It's an insurance policy. It's the escape key on your keyboard. It belongs in a boring, FDIC-insured account. Do not look at the interest rate. The goal here isn't growth, it's latency. How fast can you get that money into the real world? Second layer, the hedge, the anti-inflation shield. Once the buffer is full, any extra dollar in that account is a wasted asset. It's a soldier sitting in the barracks while the war is happening outside. This is where you look at short-term treasuries or money market funds. Think of this as your inventory space. It's slightly harder to access than your wallet, but it keeps your items from rotting. You're matching the system's inflation rate. You aren't winning, but you aren't losing. You're holding the line. Third layer, the engine, the power-up. Everything else, it doesn't belong in a savings category. It belongs in the capital category. This is where you buy ownership. Stocks, real estate, low-cost index funds. Why ownership? Because the people who own the assets are the ones who write the patch notes. When prices go up, the owners of the companies and the land are the ones collecting the higher prices. If you only save, you're the victim of price hikes. If you own, you are the beneficiary. Why is it so hard to move money out of a savings account? Because of loss aversion. Humans are wired to feel the pain of a loss twice as intensely as the joy of a gain. When you move money into a volatile asset, like an index fund, the number on the screen might go down tomorrow. Your primitive brain screams, "The grain is disappearing! The tribe will starve!" It can't comprehend that the safe number in your savings account is guaranteed to lose value over a decade, whereas the volatile number is historically likely to triple. You are optimized for the next 24 hours. The economy is optimized for the next 24 years. This is the ultimate glitch. To win the game, you have to override your own sensory input. You have to treat your bank balance as a UI lie and your investment portfolio as the source code. Let's get blunt. Where should you save? 1. High-yield savings, or money market, only for your emergency fund and money you need in the next 12 months. A house down payment, a wedding, a new rig. 2. Tax-advantaged buckets, the legal glitch. If you're in the U.S., use the 401k and the IRA. This is the government giving you a tax shield. It's the only time the devs give you a free buff. Use it. 3. Broad market index funds. This is the autoplay mode of wealth. You're betting on the entire human species to keep trying to make a profit. Since humans are biologically driven to compete and consume, this is a very safe bet over a long enough timeline. Nah, don't buy individual meme stocks. That's just gambling with a better UI. You aren't a pro gamer. You don't have the frame-perfect timing to beat the algorithmic trading bots. Buy the whole market. Be the house, not the gambler. The most authoritative way to handle money is to aim for a zero-balance life. Not $0 in total, $0 unallocated. Every single cent that enters your ecosystem should have a job description. This dollar is for rent, operating costs. This dollar is for the emergency fund, maintenance. This dollar is for the index fund, expansion. If you have extra money sitting in a checking account, you have a management failure. You are leaving your hardware idle. You are letting your processing power go to waste on background tasks that don't yield results. Treat your financial life like a hardcore strategy sim. Minimize waste, maximize uptime. Ignore the lizard brain urges to hoard safety that doesn't exist. The only true safety in a digital inflationary world is cash flow and asset ownership. Everything else is just a pretty screensaver while your purchasing power crashes in the background. The system is rigged, but the rules are public. Most people don't read the manual. They just complain about the difficulty settings. You now have the documentation. Stop saving like a peasant from the 1400s. Start allocating like a sovereign entity in 2026. The software of your mind wants you to be afraid. override it. The mechanics of the world want you to be a liquidity provider for the banks. Refuse it. Build the stack, fill the buckets, win the game. If this breakdown helped you debug your financial philosophy, do the thing. Hit the like button to feed the algorithm, subscribe so you don't miss the next system update, and drop a comment below. Are you still hoarding grain in a savings account, or have you started building an engine? Let me know. I'm watching the data. See you in the next one.